Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Facebook Live session with me for Tradeway. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about breakthroughs in trading, okay? Breakthroughs in trading and my breakthroughs in trading. You're joining me today. I am in Southern California in my music studio today, but again, that is not why we're here today. We're actually going to talk about some specific things. Right before I jumped on the broadcast, I just take a second, collect my thoughts, and remind myself, what is it that I'm about to do? What is the goal of what I'm about to invest my time in? That's something I try to do with everything that I do, and that's important to say because the goal I have for this time is communicating to you what I have found is the most important things for me to move forward in my trading. What has helped create breakthrough in my trading? I'm going to talk about this in a minute because actually this is one of the breakthroughs. But learning from those and being exposed to and having access to those who are at the place that you want to be sounds very simple. But if it's so simple, then I wonder why more people don't access this. We try to figure a lot of things out on our own. That is not true for you, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. And you're obviously hungry for breakthroughs in your trading, or you wouldn't be on this video, or if you're joining us later, you're watching this video. Now, something I want to say about breakthrough in particular, before I go through, I'm going to show you about 6 things. Okay, there's many more, but I'm going to show you about 6 in this video that I think are key to breakthrough. Now, some of them are key to breakthrough, I think, in general. Okay, so they have definitely applied to my trading, but they could be applied to other things as well. And then some of them are much more specifically regarding trading itself. Okay, so I'm going to go over, like I said, about 6 of those. Something to say about breakthrough. I understand why we think breakthrough is, let's just say, I want to be a consistently profitable trader. Okay, anybody can put on a trade. We've probably got folks out there, you've done a lot of trading, some who've done a little trading, some who've done no trading at all. Okay, I'm going to tell every group that anybody who can trade can put on a profitable trade. I'm getting a couple of messages popping through there. Anybody can put on a trade and anybody can win. You can even win a string of trades, and yet it's not necessarily going to make you a consistently profitable trader. Most traders, if they make anything, give it back. Okay, so what I want to help you do is move towards what does it take to be a consistently profitable trader. And the breakthrough we're really looking for is that specific event, which would look like what? Maybe this month I made X amount, the next month I made X amount, and after 3 months of a consistent goal, then I'm actually saying, hey, I'm starting to get some breakthrough. Now that's true, and this is what I'm framing for us. There is a specific moment that we can measure something that we wanted to happen. I'm not just being intellectual. I'm not just being philosophical. There's a moment where we can measure, ooh, that was a breakthrough. But breakthrough, I don't believe, is just a single event. Breakthrough is a series of choices, a series of events that create a desired outcome. So when I talk about breakthrough, some of what I'm saying, yes, it is that very specific thing. I had another profitable trade. Yes, I have eliminated or I've broken into something very definable that I want to see, but I want you to understand that I think breakthrough is a process, okay? So let's go ahead and jump in to a few of these. Number one thing, remember I said some of these are going to be applicable to any breakthrough you want. So I hope that you can take these and be inspired and motivated and empowered to apply them to any area of your life. But specifically here, number one is being open to learn, okay? Now the danger there a little bit is to say, well, okay, Blair, that's so obvious. But again, I bet you've seen this. I certainly have, okay? If I watch somebody who says, man, geez, I sure wish I had more energy. Geez, I sure wish I was healthier. geez, I sure wish I was, I knew the Bible better. Then my next question, and I'm guilty of this, my next question is, okay, how open are you to adjusting what you are doing? How open are you to take advice and seek advice from those who are doing the thing that you say you want to do? Now, again, if you're on this broadcast, to me, that is a deposit in a breakthrough. You are actually taking time. You are paying the most valuable resource that you have in your life right now, that is time, to come on here and listen and learn some things about this. That is something that we need to do, and we need to continue to do that, okay? We need to pay that time into a person or a situation or a curriculum, whatever the case might be, that's going to help us to learn. I will say this. It's been said, and I'm going to say it's by they. Okay, they say. You'll see this in popular trading books. You'll certainly hear this anytime you encounter an opponent to trading stocks. Okay, meaning that there are people, they simply do not believe that trading stocks consistently is possible. Okay, now I know for a fact that that is not true, but here's one of the things that they will say. They'll say, well, Blair, you know that 80 or 90%, the numbers vary depending on who you ask or what book you're reading or whatever the case might be. 80 to 90% of traders wash out, meaning they quit or they lose their money in the first year. Okay? And it's meant to discourage. But here's what I would say, and I'm talking about being open to learn. This is the first key of breakthrough that I'm talking about. Most of them have opened a brokerage account, desire to trade, and I've watched this happen. This is not theory for me, okay? I've been in this industry for a little while now, and I have watched this happen. They are not open to learn, okay? They have not sought how to do this, to actually do this. So being open to learn is huge. They've just started. They get in, they don't know what they're doing. They go based on news, which we're going to talk about in a second. That's another key. They trade based on news, and they lose their money. Okay, they don't understand the mindset. They don't understand the discipline, and they wash out, as they say. So while it is maybe true that a lot of people who start quit, I would say it's not true of those who've actually learned to trade stocks. Number one, seems really simple, seems really obvious, being open to learn. That is when I started getting massive breakthrough in finances in my life. I come from a background of being in the music industry, of being in missions and ministry overseas. As you can imagine, not a lot of money in mission work, which was fine with me. I was happy to do it. It was one of the most amazing seasons of my life, and I made next to nothing. And yet I was absolutely blessed beyond belief to do it. That is the truth. But I did not learn a lot about money. So when I decided, hey, I want to see more breakthrough in this area, and I began to engage in prayer, the Lord immediately began to lead me to a greater openness to learn. And you know what? This is the thing I'll say about this key, and then I'll move on. An openness to learn in an area where we don't know much often takes a lot of courage. Okay, so this is actually a very important key. The next one I'll mention to you, and I'll briefly touch on this because we've kind of it ties a lot in with being open to learn, is get a mentor. Okay, getting a trading mentor, getting a financial mentor. Remember, we're specifically focusing on those areas. This could be applied to any area of your life, but specifically getting a mentor. Listen, time, energy, mistakes, the list goes on. If we can learn from somebody or somebody's that are already where we want to be, we don't have to do so much on our own. And I mean, we have access to books and podcasts and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a piece of it. But it's just a piece of it. Getting a mentor, somebody, I can tell you, I've had access to amazing programs, videos, books, my own personal experience, all kinds of really key, important things. Exponentially, still today, I've learned way more, and still do, from looking over the shoulder of another trader who's further along than me than I ever would doing that other stuff. It is the fast track to acceleration. It's just a fact. No matter what you're learning, look, guys, I was thinking about this. Like, I've got these drums right here. Okay, that's one of the things I have the freedom to do in my life. I was thinking about the fact that today we've got all this online content. And when I was a young man, when I was a teenager learning to play an instrument, I don't have access to what so many people have access now with this Facebook Live, with YouTube, with Zoom, with all this online stuff we have now. It's an incredible time. So getting a mentor is not as complicated, as challenging, or even as expensive as it has been in the past. Number two, get a mentor. Get a money mentor. Get a trading mentor. And I think that accelerates breakthrough. The strongest things I have in my life right now, the places that I can say over the last 20 years, I've grown the most radically, the most quickly, even over the last 5 years, has always been because of a mentor. Not that the whole breakthrough was because of the mentor, but that was such a huge part of the breakthrough, okay? They already had a breakthrough. I can go out and win it myself, or it can be imparted to me by somebody who already fought for it. So that's the power of a mentor, okay? Now remember, I said some of the things we're going to talk about are specifically or more of an overview on breakthrough, but I've got some here that are specifically trading, and this is things that I had to win along the way, okay? Some of them were said to me, but let me tell you guys something in trading. In fact, this is not one of the keys I was going to go over, but this is a very important tip. And some of you, like I said, who have been trading, you've learned this already. Okay, you can learn a rule, but until you've walked through breaking that rule, it may not actually be a rule that is yours. It's not necessarily in your heart. You're not necessarily following it. So some things, they're told to you, but you make the mistake and you learn to implement it. Anyway, I'm going to remind you of some of these, and if you'll take this, plant it in the ground, understand how important it is, don't break these rules, utilize these keys, you won't have to pay a price that I paid, okay? That's what I'm getting at there. So number 3, okay, and this is the big one. We need to learn a system that has a real edge. Now, I mentioned this about traders that are washing out, okay? People have an understanding, I'm generalizing, that trading is about knowing what's going to happen. Listen, this is a key to breakthrough. And probably for those of us who've not done a lot of trading, this is a key that is much more important than it may feel like it is to you right now. For those who have been doing this a longer time, you've either learned this or you are learning this. This is a massive key to being consistently profitable. You must know that trading is not about finding out. It's not about knowing, let me rephrase that. It's not about knowing what is going to happen. I watch this all the time. Traders get stuck in a mindset that if they get good enough, then they can learn what's going to happen. And then they can take advantage of the trade and they'll make money on the trade. But trading is not about knowing what's going to happen. And feeling like you need to know what's going to happen is going to do one thing. It's going to do a lot of things, but it's going to do at least one thing. It's going to create a ton of emotion inside of you. And emotion is, fear and greed in particular, is the worst thing that a trader can possibly have. If we think we need to know what's going to happen, those emotions will take control, they will affect our decisions, and they will poison our trading. That is a key to breakthrough that you can write down. I guarantee it. I've seen it over and over, and I've done it in my own life. And the greatest trading coaches in the world understand this to be true, okay? We have got to manage emotions, but we're not going to be able to do that if we think that our technical analysis, our system, gives us the ability to know what's going to happen, or that we're using that system so that we can know what's going to happen. If I was a better technical analyst, I would know what's going to happen, and it can be sneaky. where we say, well, Blair, no, I don't think I really need to know what's going to happen. But then you get this bias in your mind based on your technical analysis that says, I think I know what's going to happen, and that's why I'm placing the trade. No, we are not going to know what's going to happen. There's too many factors in the market, way too many factors, too many traders, and it only takes one of those to change what we think is going to happen into something we didn't think was going to happen. But if we have an edge, we learn a system that gives us an edge, meaning there is a higher probability of one thing happening than another thing happening. That is a massive breakthrough in trading. And I believe that that is why most people wash out of the market. They either don't have an edge at all, they have not learned a system that gives them an edge, or they don't follow that edge. Okay? There's many pitfalls that take us outside of that edge, but if we don't have the discipline to only execute trades when that edge is present, then we actually lose that edge, and we're not going to have breakthrough. Breakthrough comes when we understand the system that we have gives us an edge, and we exploit that edge, and only that edge when it is present. Okay? If you guys want to drop comment, I don't know if it's on this side or if it's on backwards here, the other side, whatever side it is, if you want to drop comments in there, I'm happy to give a shout out, answer questions if we've got them coming up on there. I definitely want you guys to throw those my way if you've got them, okay? I am going to keep going along here. So to recap on that, I'm saying, listen, if we want breakthrough in our trading, and this has been massive, being open to learn, staying open to learn, okay? This is a process. I tell people all the time, you're not learning to trade only, you're learning a trade, okay? This is learning a trade. It's an incredible trade to learn. The potentials of it, the freedom of it is unmatched. Okay, but it is a process. This is a trade. So we're being open to learn. Number two, get a mentor. Why? Why not? Why not fast track your learning by leveraging the process that somebody else has already gone through? That's one of the things we do at Tradeway. I have leveraged those who've gone before me and learned in just a few years what took some of them 25 or more years to learn. Somebody else can learn from me even faster than that. So that's getting a mentor. Number two, again, that could apply to any area of life. Certainly it applies to trading. Why do this on your own? You create mental baggage, emotional baggage, and you lose money if you don't know what you're doing. And number three isn't happening, which is learn a system that has a real edge, exploit that edge. We don't need to know what is happening in the market in terms of what's going to happen next. We just need to know when our edge is present, okay? That is one of the things that we teach and talk about at Tradeway all the time. And that takes us to number four. We need to understand what it takes to minimize emotions. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but I want to highlight it because I can tell you that one of the greatest breakthroughs for me, because if I can just say it on the negative side for a second, one of the more significant challenges for me as a trader, and this is true of so many traders, if you're watching today and you've been doing some trading for a while, this is very likely true of your trading, now to varying degrees maybe, but very likely of your trading, very likely true of your trading as well, that you know the system. You know what to do, but consistently executing that and doing it correctly can be complicated if emotions become too involved. Fear and greed, okay? Sometimes both, but one or the other at least if emotions are getting really strong. So we need to understand how to manage those. I'm going to give you the key to managing that, okay? And this also is something we talk about all the time at Tradeway. This is every single time I'm coaching somebody in a trade, these questions are going to come up. Are you managing your emotions? If not, here's how to do it. You have to know how to formulate and execute a plan. The plan that you make about the trade before you ever even get into a trade. Most traders, most of the time, they're spontaneous, reckless, compulsive. Now that sounds like I'm being really negative, but the truth is we're growing, okay? And we may not have anybody on this broadcast right now who's at that stage. I don't know. But I know that traders go through that stage. It's just like growing up, right? We need to grow in maturity. So I'm not being negative, I'm being real about how it typically looks. And when we are compulsive, when we are unplanned, that's when we get into trouble. We don't have the safeguards in place that help us manage the emotions by making a plan when we're out of the trade that will follow once we're in. So I always ask people, are we more emotional before our money is at risk or once our money is at risk? And of course, the answer is obvious. We're going to be much more emotional once our money is at risk. There's nothing truly on the line until I enter the position. And then the emotions spring to life. But if I've made a good plan and I understand how to do that before I get into the trade, then I've made that safeguard in an unemotional state to help guard me when I become or come into a more emotional state. If you haven't noticed already, a big part of trading is emotional. It's psychological. Because who do I have to manage when I'm in a trade? Me. I have to manage me. And that's a massive part of breaking through in consistent trading. See, if the world inside of me is not consistent, then how could I ever expect my trading decisions to be consistent? Here's what most people do. Now, I didn't plan this, but I'm going to throw this out there. Most people blame the market. Oh, the market, man. Oh, the market did this. Oh, the market didn't do what it should have done. Oh, the market's just really hard right now. I would boldly disagree as somebody who, I'll tell you guys, has blamed the market many times. Personally, as a trader, I've blamed the market many times. The market is not the problem. The market's just doing what it's doing. I need to know that I can be consistent. And then my trading can be consistent. So that is why these things are so important, such a big part of breakthrough. So having a plan. Now I'm going to give you guys, here's a freebie, a simple plan. Okay, this is as simple and basic as it gets. You need to know when you're getting in, right? Before you get in, it's planned. This is where my edge is present. I'm going to get in. Here's where I'm going to get out. I'll sell at this point. This is massive. And this is where I'm going to stop out. This is where I'm going to stop out of the trade. Okay? If you don't even know what a stop out is, that's something we want to teach you at Tradeway. We want you to know this is when I'll cut my losses. This is when I'll get in. This is when I'll get out. And those prices, those three things are set in stone. I'm going to follow that plan. Okay? And that's where the discipline comes in. And that's something we need to build. And I think with a mentor, that's a big part of what you can do there is build that discipline. Because again, listen, I don't want this to be missed. We should write this down. If there's no consistency in me, there won't be consistency in my trading. Okay? If I'm consistently making mistakes, I'm going to consistently see the results of that. If I'm consistently making a good plan and I'm following that plan, I'm going to start to see consistency in my trading. And that has been a big breakthrough. Realization to begin with, but implementation to follow. Got to have a plan. Here's another one. I've got 2 more keys for breakthrough. Okay, we're going to do a little recap before we go to the last one. We've got 2 more. Next one, number 5, this is, okay, patience. Patience. This has been a massive breakthrough. Okay, so let's just paint a little picture here, guys. Think about this. You are learning to trade, okay? You're excited about trading. You've taken some of my advice so far. You've implemented it, and you had a profitable trade, okay? If you haven't done this before, okay, you actually open a brokerage account. You put money in the account. You find an edge, you exploit that, meaning you put on a trade, the trade is profitable, and you make good money. Let's just say in this example, you make good money for sitting here. Now, if you've never done that before, if you haven't done any investing or investments or trading, it can be mind-blowing. And honestly, on some level, I think it should be. It should be mind-blowing because it's the most incredible financial opportunity we have. Okay? What do you think you're going to want to do if that happens? You're going to want to go do it again. You're going to go, well, this is just amazing. And you know what? The best trades, when we are unemotional, they feel easy. You just looked, you saw it, you said, oh, okay, here's my plan. You executed the trade. It works. You think, well, geez, I could just do this all day long. So then we turn around and we go, I'm just going to go get another trade. But let's just say we don't see, and this happens all the time, we don't see a trade setup that is the same as the edge. Remember, we have to learn a system that identifies this for us. If we can't find where that edge is present, but we're actually just wanting to trade because we just had a profitable trade. See, that's two different things, two very different things. In one case, I had an edge present and I took advantage of that. I controlled my emotions. Then I'm trying to look for another trade because I'm so excited about trading. Well, it's okay to be excited about trading. I'm excited about trading, but that is not going to give me a profitable trade. The market doesn't care if I'm excited about trading. Okay? The market doesn't have any feelings. So I want to say number 5, patience. Because one of the ways we sabotage being consistently profitable is that we are profitable even maybe consistently, right? We are able to generate profits in our trades, but then we give them back. We consistently make it, but we consistently give it back, okay? That I see a lot. And that oftentimes can come from a lack of patience. I see the market moving today and I want to be in a trade. Now, I don't necessarily see my edge present in the charts I'm looking at, okay? And that is what we teach you to find. But I want to get in a trade and I can see the prices are moving. Well, that's the thing about the stock market, isn't it, guys? Prices are always moving. They're always moving. So there is an endless stream of possibilities to make money if only you could know the direction it's going. It's always moving. And that makes the trader feel, if you're prone to the fear of missing out, that makes the trader feel like he's missing, she's missing an opportunity that must be right in front of us, especially if we just made some money and it felt easy. So we're going to go and we got to make this happen again. Patience puts a stop on that. Patience says, I am waiting for my edge. I had a good trade. I'm going to do it again. And if I'm profitable, great. If I stop out, it was part of my plan. But I'm going to be patient. Again, if I can't manage me, then my trading will become unmanageable. Patience helps me to do that. That was number 5. I said we'd do a review. Again, being open to learn. Okay, being open to learn, getting a mentor, learning a system that has a real edge. Number 4, understand what it takes to minimize fear and greed, okay? And then we've got to have patience. We've got to have patience, okay? So number 6, I want to say this one. This is my last one, and this is massive as well. I feel like I say that on every one, right? This is massive, 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 but it is. These are all really big. Number 6, overemphasizing the news. Okay, I've got a little hum going in the background here. Overemphasizing the news and allowing the news to drive our decisions. All right, I wrote an article for some of our Tradeway students earlier today, basically saying, Wall Street will interpret the news pretty much however they want. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. But with COVID-19, obviously, we've had some very, very negative economic news, okay? Very negative economic news. What has the stock market been doing in the last 4 to 5 weeks? It's been going straight up, okay? Straight up. So the news is actually going the opposite direction. And then today we had a market drop. We had a market drop, but the news hasn't really changed that much. They've just decided to interpret it differently, okay? So your neighbor is going to pay a lot of attention to the news, but we're going to teach you how to sift through the news, and I'm going to give you a key to not overpaying attention to the news. I'm going to give you that key right now. This is it, okay? There's really only usually one main news item that you need to pay attention to as a trader. Now, at Tradeway, we help all our students identify that main news item. Honestly, it's not a secret formula. There's usually just one major driver. Now, the thing that's important about that is that you will actually find there is so much financial news. And we have to try to interpret it in some way. Is it this? Is it that? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Again, we're getting stuck in, I need to know what's going to happen. And the news likes to tell us that it can predict which way it's going to go. But really, we just want to know one major news item, okay? One major news item. And then we can use that as a part of a barometer to decide what we call at Tradeway market tone. Okay, market tone. Such a huge part of that is that one news item, but I don't pay attention to all the news. I don't listen to Jim Cramer. I don't check all the headlines and let them pull me every which way emotionally every day. Okay, I'm looking for one, and sometimes it's two. I'm going to give you an example. When we had this major crash in March, it really was two at that point. It was obviously COVID-19, big deal, but oil also had a major drop. So they kind of coincided, but most times it's just one news item. And again, that's something we want to teach you over time, how to identify a Tradeway so that you can just block out all the noise. If you read a lot of news, that's more for what we might do investing, long-term investing, than we would so much with trading stocks. And of course, we're talking today about breakthroughs in trading stocks that I have personally found to be very important. So I want you to pay less attention to the news, more attuned to what really matters to the market, being patient, being open to learn, having a mentor, understanding this is my edge, and having a plan. Listen, that's a lot of ground to cover, okay? That's a lot of ground to cover. But if you actually implement these things, they will dramatically transform your trading. Okay, guys? Thanks so much for being on today. We are going to do these every Monday and Wednesday. I will be back on Monday. You can see it posted here for times, but I'm going to be back on different topics. We're going to do some different things every single week, but I'm going to come and we're going to look at a lot of the things that matter to us here at Tradeway and do a deep dive to give you guys some stuff right back to what I said at the very top of the broadcast, which was I am trying to give you things that are going to help promote and magnify the things that you care about most in your life. Obviously, in your money, at Tradeway, we care about seeing you get breakthrough in your finances, but also understanding how we can develop as people, how we can break through in the things that matter in our lives, in faith, and having an impact on this nation that we love. So that's all going to be in the broadcasts that are upcoming. I enjoyed being on here with you guys. Let me know if you need anything right there on that Facebook page. You can post a comment, ask a question. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what you thought of the video. Let us know what you didn't like about the video, what you disagreed with. I want to hear from you guys. Post your comments there, and we will see